Hey guys, welcome to another Damilola Forex Academy video. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down what fractals are and how the knowledge of fractals are important in our understanding and mastery of chart structures. Okay, like we all know, chart structures is the foundation of price action trading, but you cannot trade chart structure correctly without the proper knowledge of fractals. Fractals are so important and we trade within the confines of fractals. We don't trade outside of fractals, but within the confines of the opportunities of each fractal. So grab a pen, grab a book, and I'm going to be taking you through this journey in the understanding and mastery of fractals in chart structure. Let's go, guys. You are looking to learn about price action and multiple areas in price action that are going to allow you to become a profitable trader. I have good news for you because I have a mentorship program that is currently going on where I'm going to be teaching you various aspects of price action and holding you by the hand into the arts and the mastery of every single area of price action, cutting across multiple areas of teaching you a proven multi-time frame analysis to risk management to multiple live trading sessions that are going to help you become a profitable price action trader. So link in the description to register for the mentorship program, and I would look forward to seeing you at the mentorship program. Let's go back to the video. In the understanding of fractal, it's important that we understand what chart structures are. It's important to note that chart structures are the movement of prices. That is, when prices moves, when the market moves in coordinations, and these coordinations create what we know as chart structure. Now, these coordinations that are created comes in various sizes and they come in various lengths. Now, fractals are the sizes and the length of these coordinations that are formed. So it's important to note that fractals are the length or are the sizes of chart structures. It's also important to note that fractals are measured by the length of the exhaustion. Okay, what does this mean? This means we all know that whenever prices moves in waves of push and exhaustion. It doesn't matter if it's a bullish structure or if it's a bearish structure. It moves in waves of push and exhaustion. So fractals are measured by the length of the exhaustion. That is the length of top, bottom, this exhaustion, this movement. That's how you measure fractals. The length of top, bottom, that's how you measure fractals. The length of bottom to the top, this is how you measure fractals. Bottom to the top, in this case, this is how you measure fractals. Okay, so fractals are very important. As like I said, we trade within the confines of fractals. Okay, so let's go ahead and write the definition of fractals out. Fractals are the lengths of the exhaustion of each structure. Okay, so we said fractals are the length of the exhaustion of each chart structure. Like we said, whenever prices can either move in chart structures of higher highs and higher lows, or in chart structure of lower highs and lower lows. But whichever way, either in a higher high and higher low chart structure or a lower high and lower low chart structure, they all have a push and exhaustion phase. After a push, there must always be an exhaustion phase. The exhaustion is the rest phase. That is, after a push, there must be a rest phase. So now, fractals are the length of that rest phase. Fractals are the length of the exhaustion of each of this chart structure. Okay, the push and the exhaustion. That exhaustion fractals are the length of that exhaustion. Okay, so it's important that we have to categorize and trade fractals in a certain rule. Okay, fractals have to be traded within a certain set of rules. Okay, which I'm going to also be diving into those set of rules that fractals has to be traded. But let's just go on with the broad explanation of fractals. Okay, it's also important to note that fractals are measured by the length of their exhaustion, which is what I just talked about. Fractals are measured by the length. Okay, let's put in bracket in pips of the exhaustion. Okay, so fractals are measured by the length of the pips of their exhaustion. So fractals are not about the push, but about the exhaustion. Let's also go ahead and specify that fractals are not about the length of the push, but about the length of the exhaustion. Okay, like I just drew out, whenever there is a push, there must be an exhaustion. Whenever there's a push, there must be an exhaustion and a push. Okay, so fractals are not about the length of this push. The length of this push are not what makes up fractals. What makes up fractals are the length of the exhaustions. Fractals are measured by the exhaustions. Okay, so if you want to measure fractals, you bring your crosshair tool from the beginning to the end to measure fractals. Beginning to the end to measure fractals, and fractals are measured using the pips. How many pips is it? You know, it's using the length of pips. That's how to measure fractals. Okay, so fractals are measured using the crosshair tool. Fractals are measured using the MT4. Let me also say the MT5 crosshair tool. The crosshair tool is the tool used in measuring pips when it comes to trading the chart. So that is the exact tool that we use in measuring our fractals. Okay, because like we said, fractals are measured using what? The length in pips of the exhaustion. Okay, so when it comes to trading fractals, there are two broad rules when it comes to trading fractals. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's write out the rules. Rules of trading fractals. Okay, like we said, there are two broad rules when it comes to trading fractals. Okay, so the first rule is that what? Small to big fractals can be traded together. Okay, in fact, it should be traded together. That is the rules. That what? If you are going from a small to big fractals, they should be traded together. Okay, that is the first rule of trading fractals. While the second rule is that what? Big to small fractals must be traded separately. Okay, so that is, if you are going from a small to big fractals, those fractals can be traded together. Okay, if there is a break of the big fractal, it directly affects the small fractal, while what? A big to small fractal must be traded separately. A break of the big fractal, a break of the small fractal does not affect the big fractal. I'm going to go and explain it in a plain chart right now. The first rule, we'll start from the first rule, which is the rule that what? Small to big fractals can be traded together. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that, for example, if we see prices start creating small fractals like this, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, these are small fractals, then we see prices establish a bigger fractal like this. And eventually we see a break of the big fractal. Okay, clearly in terms of pips, if we are to measure it, this one is smaller than this one, okay, so they can be merged together. This one is also smaller than the one in front of it. So now a break of the big fractal, a break of this big fractal, now this is where the break of structure clearly happened, where an higher low has been violated. Okay, so a break of this fractal now affects all of the smaller fractals behind it. So a break of this big fractal here, this was the structure that broke. Okay, a break of that fractal affects all of the smaller fractal behind it. This means that the maximum of our trade opportunity is at the ground level here. This means that I can actually pick a trade and exit at the 100.0 at the ground level here. Okay, because a break of this big fractal here has affected all of the small fractals behind it. So if I'm picking a sell opportunity here, if I'm in the direction of trend, my exit is here. At the ground level, this is my exit in the direction of the trend. In fact, if it is a retracement, what am I going to do? I'm going to bring my Fibonacci, in this case, from the lowest point of the broken fractal. This is the lowest point of the broken fractal, and this is the highest point of the broken fractal. And I am going to sell to the 61.8, which could be around here, of the broken fractal. Okay, so that is what the 61.8 will be a use of what? Of the fractal from the lowest point right here, like we said, the lowest point right here to the highest point right here. Okay, then this will be where we'll get our 61.8 if we are trading a retracement. While if we are trading in the direction of trend, this is our exit at the 100.0 right here. Okay, so in summary of it, what we are saying is that what? A break of a small fractal. Okay, let's go again. Okay, we can see prices start on smaller fractals, then prices establish the bigger fractal. Okay, now a break of this bigger fractal affects all of the fractals behind it. It affects all of the smaller fractals directly behind it. Okay, like we said, this means that what? If there's a trade opportunity here, if I'm trading the direction of trend, I'm exiting my trade here at the lowest point, because what? A break of this big fractal has affected all of the small fractals behind it. While if it is a retracement, what am I going to do? I'll bring my Fibonacci from the lowest point of the broken fractal, which is here, to the highest point of the broken fractal, which is here, and I will exit my trade at the 61.8 if it's a retracement. And the 61.8 is going to be around here, you know, so I'm going to exit my trade at the 61.8 of the broken fractal, which is there. Okay, so this is very important, and this is the number one rule when it comes to trading fractals, that small to big fractals can be traded together. Okay, if there's a break of the big fractal, okay, if there's a break of the big fractal here, it directly affects what? All the small fractals behind it. Okay, so a break of a big fractal directly affects all of the small fractals behind it. So this is very important, and this is the number one rule when it comes to trading fractals. Okay, what about the other rule when it comes to trading fractals? It says that what? Big to small fractals must be traded separately. Okay, let's go ahead and let's show ourselves what that means. It means that what? If prices starts by establishing big fractals like this, okay, we can see prices establishing big fractals like this, and we see prices start establishing small fractals like this. A break of the small fractal does not affect the big fractal. This means that what? Any trade opportunity I'm picking here ends here. Okay, any trade opportunity that I'm picking here ends here. It does not affect the big fractal that is below it. This means that this is the 100.0 here. This is the 100.0. That means that what? The highest I can trade with, okay, there's been a break of structure here, and I got my trade opportunity here. A break of structure, okay, it's a good opportunity to sell in this case. This means that what? The highest I can trade to is this point here, within the confines of the broken fractal, because the fractal that were broken are clearly smaller fractals, and it has no business with the big fractals, because a break of the small fractal does not in any way affect the big fractal. This means any trade opportunity that I'm having ends here at the lowest point right here, at the 100.0 right here. Okay, this is where it ends. And if I'm trading a retracement, I'm going to bring my Fibonacci from the lowest point of the broken fractal, which is here, to the highest point of the broken fractal, which is here, and exit my trade at the 61.8 of the broken fractal, which is going to be somewhere around here. Okay, so in this case, if it is a retracement, I'll exit my trade at the 61.8 of the broken fractal, while if we're in the direction, this is my exit here at the 100.0 of the broken fractal. Okay, so it's very important that what we understand and trade within the confines of our fractal opportunity. Okay, for those that don't understand fractals, a break of structure, with the break of structure that happened here, okay, for those that don't understand fractals, when the break of structure happens here and you see an entry, if you don't understand fractals, you'll be like, oh, all the structures are broken and you want to exit your trade here. But that would be wrong, because you are trading and you are going from one fractal to the other. While what we know that with fractals, you are supposed to trade within the confines of your fractal opportunity. So this means that what if you are selling here, this should be your exit. This is the 100.0 of the broken fractal. You have no business trading beyond. Okay, so the only time that you can have business trading beyond is when prices has broken into that fractal. Now, when prices has broken into that fractal, that is what a break of this low has shown that what price has broken into that fractal. So if prices breaks this low here, then this is a good sell opportunity to the 100.0 of the broken fractal here. That is the highest point of the broken fractal. Okay, so that is very, very important when it comes to the knowledge of fractals. Now, how do we use the knowledge of what we just learned about fractals in a practical standpoint? Okay, so for example, we can see that this is the GBP JPY on a monthly time frame, and we can see that this is the real-time point where prices is currently at. Okay, so our job is what? Our job is categorizing prices into fractals from the monthly time frame down to the 30-minute time frame to pick a trade opportunity. Okay, so right now we can see the real-time point where prices is at. So we are trying to categorize prices into fractals and read the structures that took prices to that particular point. Okay, now, so what are these structures? We can see prices make structures of push and exhaustion. Prices established a small fractal here. Prices continued by establishing a fractal that is also equal in terms of length. Then prices went up and established a bigger fractal right now. If you measure this fractal and measure the fractal behind it, you would see that the fractal in front is bigger in terms of pips. Let's go ahead and measure it from the high point here to the low point here. This is about 1,600 pips. Then we can see that from the high point here to the low point here, this is about 949 pips. Okay, so this is very accepted. These two fractals here are of equal sizes. Then prices went to establish a bigger fractal, which is okay, because going from small fractal to big fractal is 100% okay. But within the confines of this fractal of what, 1,006, there is no exhaustion in front of it that has that equal length of fractal also. All of the fractals in front of it are smaller. So within the confines of these fractals, this is the last higher low. Okay, so that means that what, a break of this higher low here affects all of the fractals that starts from here to this point. It affects all of these fractals. So my job is what? If it's a retracement, I'll bring my Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point of the broken fractal and take my opportunity at 61.8. While it's in the direction, I'll take my opportunity at the lowest point at this level here at 100.0. Okay, so right now within the confines of this fractal, this is the last higher low. Okay, so this slims our opportunity now. The understanding of fractals help us to slim our opportunity, knowing fully well that what our current trade opportunity is within the confines of smaller fractals. Within this confines here is where our current trade opportunity is. We all know that what our trade opportunity is backed by a break of structure. If I tell you I'm in a trade, it means that what I have seen a break of structure. So break of structures are the elements that validates a trade opportunity. Okay, so this means that our current trade opportunity is going to be on within smaller fractals of this low and this high. So we are going to take that smaller fractals to the weekly time frame. Okay, so the smaller fractal is this low here, and this high here. This is the smaller fractal that we just saw on the monthly time frame. Okay, so we can see prices also move from smaller fractals here. Prices move from smaller fractals to bigger fractals. Then prices went and established even bigger fractal to push up. If you want, we can also just do a quick measurement. From the high point here to the low point here is about 498 pips. We'll bring the crosshair tool again. From the high point here to the low point is 763 pips, which means that what, we went from small fractals to big fractals, which is supposed to be how it should be. Then this is a bigger fractal of over 1,000 pips. Okay, so that means this is correct. We went from a 400 pips fractal to a 700 pips fractal to a 1,000 pip fractal, then push. Okay, so within the confines of fractals, this is the correct identification of fractals, from small fractals to big fractals. So this means that what, if there is a break of the structure right here, break of the structure right here affects all of the structures that starts from here within the confines of that fractals. It does not affect all of the bigger fractals that we identified on the monthly time frame. Instead, it only affects the fractals that starts from here and ends here. That is what a break of this higher low right here. Okay, so these are the structures from smaller fractals to bigger fractals. Okay, but right now, the last higher low within the confines of that fractal, this higher low has not been broken. Okay, so this means that what, our trade opportunity is going to be between this area here is where our current trade opportunity is going to be. By the time prices breaks, then price has broken into another tradable area. But right now, our tradable area is going to be from between this high to this low right here. This is going to be our tradable area. Okay, so we are going to zoom into the daily time frame and zoom into the trade opportunity. Okay, so this is the area that we just identified on the weekly, the low to the high. So let's go ahead and identify the fractals. This is it: push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. Okay, we went from small fractals to big fractals again, and within the confines of these big fractals, this is the last higher low. Okay, let's do a quick measurement of the fractals from the high point here to the low point. This is about 153 pips. Then from the high point here of the exhaustion, you can see where the red candle is. This is what, 172 pips. We went from small fractals to big fractals, which are 1000% okay. Then this is the high. We can see the low point here of about 300 plus pips. Then all of the fractals in front are smaller fractals, because the fractal, this one here of 300 pips, any fractal that has to be categorized with it in front has to be of the same 380 pips plus 380 pips or more. Okay, so while the fractal right in front of it, all of these ones are 200 pips plus. Okay, so clearly they are separate fractals. Okay, so clearly this is push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. This is the last higher low within the confines of these fractals. Okay, when prices come and breaks the last higher low, we'll say price has broken into that fractal, and it gives me the trade opportunity to the 100.0 of the broken fractal. If we're in the direction of trend, or if we're in a retracement, I'll bring my Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point and exit at 61.8. Okay, but right now, within the confines of our fractals, our trade opportunity are between the lowest point right here to the highest point right here. Okay, within the confines of smaller fractals. Okay, so we'll take the opportunity to the 4 hours time frame. On the 4 hours time frame, this is the lowest point and this is the highest point on the 4 hours time frame. Okay, so this are push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion, and currently this is still the last higher low. Okay, within the confines of these fractals, this is the last higher low. And why is this? Why is this one not yet an higher low? It's important to note that what, for an higher low to be established, there must be an higher high. Okay, so this means that what, because this one does not have an higher high yet, then this cannot be seen as an higher low. Okay, so higher lows are only established when there's an higher high, and lower highs are only established when there is a lower low. Okay, so within the confines of this, we can say this is push, exhaustion. Let's go ahead again from the beginning. Push. Okay, just a moment. This is push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. Then this is what? This is the last higher low right here. Okay, so initially we had seen a trade opportunity within the confines of smaller fractals here. Okay, and we exited at the 61.8 of this fractal. That is, we brought our Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point. Okay, this was the lowest point of the broken fractal. Let's take everything out so we can identify it clearly. Okay, and we exited at the 61.8. At that point, this was push, exhaustion. Then this was push, exhaustion. This was the last higher low of prices. Then this was push. This was a break of structure. And we know that what if we are selling it, the retracement, because from the monthly time frame to the daily time frame, even the 4 hour time frame has shown us that overall price is bullish. So any sell is a retracement. So at maximum, we know we're supposed to exit at the 61.8 here at maximum. Okay, so we exited at 61.8, but prices eventually came to the 100.0 zone. It came to all of this zone right here. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is now push, exhaustion, still push, exhaustion, and this maintains as the last higher low. Okay, so all of this in the eye of the big fractal, all of these are push, and all of these are overextended extensions, because within the confines of a retracement, 61.8 is supposed to be the maximum allowed for us, but instead prices came to as much as the 100.0 at this point. So these are overextended extensions. Okay, so now at this 100.0 here, what am I going to do? My job will be what? Okay, I need to see the break of a bearish structure. The break of a bearish structure here is going to what? Allow me to buy to the 100.0 of the broken fractal. Okay, so within the confines of this opportunity here, okay, within the confines of these big fractals, these are now push. This is a lower high. This is what? A low within the confines of these big fractals. Okay, so I'm going to take this opportunity and look for a trade within the confines of smaller fractals. So we are going to take the smaller fractals to like the 30 minutes time frame. Okay, I prefer the 30 minutes time frame to the 1 hour time frame because the 30 minutes will give me an earlier entry. So we're going to take the confines of these smaller fractals to the 30 minutes time frame. I will know that what any break of structure will buy to the 100.0 of the broken fractal. If prices breaks here, buy to the 100.0 of the broken fractal. Okay, so now we'll go to the 30 minutes time frame to look for that trade opportunity. So now within the 30 minutes time frame, there are also different fractals here. We can see price make push, exhaustion of bigger fractal, push, exhaustion here of bigger fractal. Price went from small to big fractal. If you measure it, then this is a separate fractal. Okay, then this fractal here is smaller in size to the previous one. Okay, let's go ahead and measure it just for clarity. This one is what? This one is 82 pips, while this particular one here is 50 pips. So the one in front is smaller. So the 82 pips fractal is a different fractal, while the 50 pips fractal is also a bigger fractal in comparison to all the fractals in front of it. So this one will be measured separately. So the fractals in front of it are baby fractals. They are all the smaller fractals of push, exhaustion, you know, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. And this was what? The last lower high. Okay, and this was the push. Okay, and all of these were the break of structure. So this was the candlestick that broke structure. Now, when this candlestick broke structure, we know that what we are buying to the 100.0 of the broken fractal, which ends here. So let's take all of this annotation out and focus on our tradable area, which is between this low, the high, and this low. Okay, so the confines of our fractals are what? Push, exhaustion, smaller fractals, push, exhaustion, push, exhaustion. This was the last lower high right here. Then prices came to this point. Then what? Prices broke the structure. So now that the structure has been broken, we know that what prices would come toward the 100.0 of the broken fractal at this point. Okay, so now we know that what we have different entry variations. Okay, that is what first entry variation is what you can buy pinpoint with your stop loss locked at the low here. That is what, okay, break of structure has happened. Buy, put your stop loss at the low. Entry variation 1. And we also know that what we have entry variation 2, which is what bring your Fibonacci from the lowest point to the highest point after the break of structure has happened, and what? Buy pinpoints at 61.8. okay, while still maintaining your stop loss at the low right here. Okay, so this was where the break of structure clearly happened, which exhaustion, post exhaustion of smaller fractals. Then what? We saw prices break the structure. When prices broke the structure, you can buy pinpoint at the break of structure, or you can allow prices to come for a natural 61-point retracement. Okay, the idea is that when prices breaks the structure, prices wants to come, in this case, to grab more bulls. Okay, so prices is coming to grab more bulls before taking off to take profit at the 100.0 of the broken fractal at this point. Okay, so within the confines of our opportunity, this is a trade that is fresh, it's ready to buy pinpoint at 61.8 using entry variation 2 or entry variation 1, buy at the break of structure, put the stop loss at the low and buy to 100.0 at this point. Okay, so this is the trade opportunity within the confines of fractals. If prices breaks above, then price has broken into another fractal. Breaks above, it has broken into another fractal. But right now, this is the trade opportunity within the confines of our fractals. Okay, and this is how we are able to use fractals to pick trades. Okay, fractals will make your trades much more price action driven. Okay, because our exits are fractals, are within the confines of the broken fractals. Our entries are within the confines of the broken fractals. Okay, and this is how we are able to take opportunity and make good and better analysis with the knowledge of fractals.